In this video, we are going to show you how to run the network test script. The network test script will identify your public EBR and NAS LAN. For your information, we are supposed to have 2 public LAN, 1 EBR LAN, and 2 NAS LANs. This script has to run from the console if you are testing the public LAN. What it does is it will remove your active LAN, and so if you're doing a telnet on our SSH, you will be removed. You'll be kicked out. And if you do not do it from the console, you do it from the telnet session or SSH session, you will be kicked out. Then your network test script will fail. Therefore, for public LAN, you have to run it from the network test. I mean, from the console. For the EBR and NAS, you can run it from the regular telnet or SSH session. All right, so the output of this script will be placed in /etc/sysinfo/ uppercase LAN info. Okay, we're gonna hit enter right here. You have 2 choices. One is non-intrusive, one is intrusive. The non-intrusive, what it does is it will remove your current LAN, your current active LAN, and replace it with another LAN card. If that LAN card is good, then your GPN is working. If not, within seconds, it will replace it back to your active LAN. So the non-intrusive will not interrupt people logging into the machine. They will be interrupted like 1 or 2 seconds, but before they know it, their LAN is back. The intrusive one, it will remove all this, nice and clean. I use this if nobody logs in because this test is very thorough and usually we have 100% or 99.9% rate of success. So for this test, I will type 2. We are testing the GPN LAN. Hit enter. Okay, it will disable all network connection. Hit enter. Okay. Well, before it does the test, it ran a link loop command to all LAN cards. Sometimes I have a machine that has 125 LAN cards, but it will not test the 125 of them, only test those LAN cards that have cable connected to them. And not only have cable connected, but it's a live connection. So the link loop will send a signal from our machine to the other end, and if it receives a good signal back, it will identify the LAN card and place the report right here. So in this case, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 LAN cards with cable, active LAN cable out there in the data center. Okay, hit enter. So it will this is started to do the test. First, it will unplumb your LAN 5, your active LAN, and plug in LAN 14, and then unplumb unplumb 14 and put 5 back, and then unplumb 5, put the next one back, which is 6. So it will go through all this, and here is the result. It finds the LAN 5 and LAN 13 to be the GPN LAN. What it did was it plumb up this IP address to every one of these LAN cards. Only these 2 work for this IP address. Okay, the next thing is we are going to check the EBR. However, before we go there, this machine is an HPUX 1123, and 1123 we do not have a free APA software for failover LAN. And however, it did gives this option. The script has the option to place the secondary LAN information, in this case LAN 13, into your netconf file. I have already said yes before, and this script identified that this information is in your netconf, just to make sure that it is still correct. The idea is when one experienced a network problem on the primary, he or she can just log into the console, VI the netconf, and see this information there, and uncomment this out and comment out the active LAN, and then restart the network. So he or she doesn't have to search around to find out which one is the alternate GPN LAN. Okay, hit enter. Now we are going to test the EBR LAN. Hit enter. It asks for the gateway. Bring in the network design. Here's the EBR, by the way. And here is the gateway, 88.3. The subnet is 248. So 88.3 is this. Oh, by the way, you notice that this has an EBR. So this script will identify if you're using an EBR.HYDC, blah, 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 or an EBR. It will identify it for you. Enter. And then the subnet was this one, so number 3. All right, so are you ready to test it? I say yes. Okay, it's done. Now it says, do you want to test the NAS connection? So enter. It asks for the gateway, so let's bring this one in right there. NAS, and here is the gateway, is right here. I'm going to copy this, and the subnet is 248. So the gateway is 40.3, and here is 43.3. So I'm going to copy and paste the gateway, 40.3, and the subnet is 3. Enter. You want to test it? Yes. And here is the result. We have LAN 14 for EBR and LAN 6 for NAS, and we have one LAN with a good connection, but it's not usable for the NAS. So we say, well, you know, maybe I have to contact HP to double check the connections, or the network team. Well, before we do so, we are going to rerun this one more time. What happened here is the EBR test, in this particular case, as soon as it finds one LAN works for the EBR, it will label it and it will stop testing the EBR, and it grabbed this LAN 14. Per our frame view, actually LAN 14 is for the NAS, and the LAN 7 is for the EBR. So that means I need to enhance the script. Hopefully I put more brain to it to understand that, well, you know, if this is not this, maybe that kind of fashion, but not at this time. So to get around this, what I would do is I will rerun the test, but instead of testing the EBR first, I will test the NAS first. Okay, so I'm going to Control C here and type network test again and rerun it, type 1 to test all of them. It says that you, okay, we'll rename this. Oh, it found that we already ran it before because it created this file, but it'll be renamed to this file name. Okay, do you want to display it? No, I don't care. Just hit enter. Are you ready to rerun the script? Yes. Why? Number 1 or number 2 is the intrusive. I type 2. Enter. Enter again. Let it run. Okay, here is the result as we expected. But now, again, this explained about the secondary LAN in the netconf. I just hit enter. Now I ask you, do you want to test the EBR? At this time, we will say skip because we want to test the NAS first. Do you want to test the NAS? Hit enter. Okay, hit enter. As you see that the gateway here is already pre-populated because it remembers what you typed earlier. So just hit enter. Here, the subnet. If you have a different subnet, you type it here. Otherwise, you press enter. Are you ready to test the NAS? Yes. Let it run here. I'm going to pause the video so we don't waste time. All right, so the NAS test completed, and you notice that it identifies LAN 14 and LAN 6 to be the NAS LAN card. Now, how about LAN 7? And how about the EBR? So EBR is not here. Well, unfortunately, this script stops right here. If you want to test the EBR, you're gonna Control C it, cancel, run it again, but this time you just run the EBR number 3, EBR test, and for EBR and NAS, you don't have to, you don't need to choose intrusive, so I will hit enter. The default is 1, which is non-intrusive. And again, we have the EBR gateway pre-populated, the subnet pre-populated, and then do you want to test it? Yes. And here you go. Here is the final result. You notice we have 2 GPN, 2 NAS, and 1 EBR LAN card. Network test successful? Yes. Do you want to email it? Yes, if you want to. That concludes this video demonstration on how to run the network test.